Hello students, today I am going to discuss 3 important questions from your previous NEET exams, and the questions from this topic are so important that you get questions repeatedly in the upcoming NEET exams too. Definitely you'll get a question from this topic, okay? The first question is, match the following column and select the correct option. Under column 1, endocrine glands are listed. There's pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland and pancreas. And column 2, Graves' disease, diabetes mellitus, diabetes insipidus and Addison's disease. So this question is from endocrine system. Okay. So normally the endocrine glands, they release some chemical substances called as hormones. Okay. Whenever there is a disturbance in this hormonal production, either they are overproduced, increased in amount or underproduced, it results in disease. Okay. So here the option 3 is the correct answer for this question, where that is pituitary gland, diabetes insipidus, thyroid gland, Graves' disease, adrenal gland, Addison's disease and pancreas, diabetes mellitus. So I'll explain you why. Okay, the first one is diabetes insipidus, a condition where there is decreased in the release of the ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, which is also referred to as vasopressin. Okay, so this hormone is released from the pituitary gland, which is at the base of the brain, the posterior part. Okay, the posterior part of the pituitary gland releases the ADH, which shows effects on the kidneys. Okay, this is a nephron, picture of the nephron. Okay, so in the kidneys the ADH shows effect on the nephrons. Okay, so what happens, normally the function of the ADH is it reabsorbs water from the collecting duct and the distal tubule of the nephron. It reabsorbs water. Okay, so whenever there is a deficiency in this hormone, either due to damage of the pituitary gland or there is damage of the nephrons, that results in decreased ADH. So what happens? Normally it reabsorbs water, resulting in concentrated urine. Okay, but as there is a disturbance in this ADH production, the water goes out of the body. The patient passes large volumes of water. So there is more water loss and they get dehydrated. They almost pass 3 liters per day. Okay. So main point here is they produce dilute urine. They pass large volumes of dilute urine. Okay. So this results in dehydration. So they feel thirsty. Polydipsia is they feel thirsty. Polyuria, they go for frequent urination. And the important point here is they have normal blood glucose levels. Okay. So if it is due to the damage of the pituitary gland, it is called as neurogenic diabetes insipidus. Okay. Neurogenic. That is central diabetes insipidus. It's the first part. And if there is a damage in the nephrons, it is called as nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus relates to the pituitary gland. Okay. And the next one is Graves' disease. It is an autoimmune disorder which affects the thyroid gland receptors. So the patients have hyperthyroidism and the thyroid gland is enlarged. They have a goiter here, the gland, you can see it. Okay. Normally the thyroid gland is located at the bottom of the neck, and so it is enlarged to almost 3 times. So you can see a bulge here. Okay. Normally the thyroid releases the thyroid hormones T3 and T4, which regulate the basic metabolic rate of the body, the BMR, and the sympathetic activity. Okay. So here in the Graves' disease, there is the enlarged thyroid gland. So there is hyperthyroidism. Okay. As there is hyperthyroidism, more thyroid hormones. So the activity, the basic metabolic rate and the sympathetic activity is increased. As a result, they have rapid heartbeat, palpitations. They are very anxious, irritable. And the main feature of the Graves' disease is, you can see your eyes. The eyes are protruded, bulging of eyes. That is exophthalmos. Okay. So Graves' disease is hyperthyroidism. Okay. Here it is hyperthyroidism results because the pituitary gland, it releases the thyroid releasing hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, which affects more and more the thyroid gland. As it is, the thyroid gland is overactive, thyroid hormones are increased, overactive thyroid, increased thyroid hormones, increased body metabolism. So it results in these symptoms. Okay, and the next disease is diabetes mellitus. It is a condition where the glucose metabolism is impaired. Okay, the glucose metabolism is regulated by the pancreas. It has the alpha cells and the beta cells which secrete, the alpha cells secrete the glucagon and the beta cells secrete the insulin. So the function of the glucagon is to see that the blood vessel, suppose it's a blood vessel, the blood glucose should be high, glucagon's function is, and the insulin's function is, it sees the glucose function, the glucose within the blood vessel is low. How it regulates its function is, it activates the cells. It could be the muscle cells or the fat cells. So the insulin affects that glucose will be uptaken by these cells, and that is one function. And the second function is, it stops release of the glucose from the liver. The glucagon stimulates the liver to release glucose, whereas insulin stops. So whenever there is a decreased production or resistance of this insulin hormone, this function is stopped. So as a result, the patients will have high blood glucose. They have polydipsia, that is more thirst, polyphagia, they have hunger. As the glucose from the blood is not going to the cells, so they feel more hunger and they have frequent urination. Okay, the diabetes mellitus, if it is because of the diabetes, is because of the insulin dependent, it is called as type 1 diabetes, and if it is because of the resistance of the insulin, that is called as type 2 diabetes. Okay, so diabetes mellitus is because of the pancreas dysfunction affecting the insulin hormone. The next one is the Addison's disease. Addison's disease is because of the hyposecretion of the glucocorticoids and aldosterone. The adrenal glands are a pair of glands which are located above the kidneys. Okay, they have the outer cortex, okay, and the inner medulla. This cortex releases these glucocorticoids and aldosterone. Okay, they regulate the blood pressure in the body, and they regulate the stress, they regulate the fluid balance. Okay, so whenever there is a damage to these adrenal glands, either because of a disease or tumor, what happens, there is a decreased production of these corticosteroids. So all these functions are affected, resulting in hypoglycemia, fatigue, pigmentation of the skin, weakness and weight loss. Okay, and let's come to the next question, that is, consider the following features: organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, true coelomates with segmentation of body. Select the correct options of animal groups which possess all the above characteristics. So there are many living organisms in this world which are grouped into some phyla, sets of phyla based on some basic common features. Okay, so among these features, the phyla among the options which satisfy these three is the answer. Okay, so that is answer 2, option 2, Annelida, Arthropoda and Chordata. So I'll explain you why. Okay, so organ system level of organization is normally many set of organs, they form into a system to perform some functions, like either it could be digestion, circulation, nervous function, reproduction. Okay, so this organ system level of organization is seen in all the phyla: Annelida, Arthropoda, molluscans and Chordata. Okay, and the next one is bilateral symmetry. It means the body can be cut in a single plane into two equal halves, right and left half. This is also seen in annelids, arthropods, mollusks and chordates. But in mollusks, the snails, they don't have this bilateral symmetry. Okay, they don't have the bilateral symmetry. And true coelomates means they have true coelom means body cavity. All these phyla have true body cavity. Okay, but the question is true coelomates with segmentation of body. This is the important point. Okay, segmentation is not seen in molluscans. Okay, and the segmentation of the body is important feature of the annelids. If you see the earthworm, see, you have many rings like structures. Okay, annelids means rings. Okay, earthworm, as in a train, you have many compartments like boxes. In the same way, you see this annelids, either earthworm or nereus, anything, you can see body is divided into single units from the outside and the inside. So it is called as metabaric segmentation, the important feature of the annelids. Okay, and in arthropods, you also see the segmentation, but not like annelids 100 to 120 segments, see. But here in arthropods you see head, thorax and abdomen, but here also segmentation is there. And in chordates also you see segmentation, but not externally. Okay, there is internal segmentation, and segmentation is seen mainly in the embryonic stage. The next question is, which are the following sets of diseases caused by bacteria? Students, health and disease topic is very important. Bacterial and viral disease, you get a question every year in your NEET exam. Okay, cholera and tetanus, typhoid and smallpox, tetanus and mumps, herpes and influenza. So the bacterial disease trick here is, see, McDonald gave 2 potato chips. Okay, McDonald gave 2 potato chips, M for meningitis, D for diphtheria, L for leprosy, D for diarrhea, G for gonorrhea, T for tetanus, W for whooping cough, P for pneumonia, T for typhoid, T for tuberculosis, C for cholera, and S for syphilis. Okay, so trick to remember bacterial diseases, McDonald gave 2 potato chips. Okay, and the next trick is for viral diseases, which is Corona stole my HD personal camera. Okay, because due to the corona pandemic, everyone away from movie theaters. So the trick is Corona stole my HD personal camera. Your C for common cold, S for smallpox, S for SARS, M for measles, R for rubella, H for hepatitis, herpes, D for dengue, P for polio, C for chickenpox, A for AIDS, M for mumps, E for influenza, and R for rabies. Okay, so there's a viral diseases trick. So let's get back to the question. Okay, the question here is cholera and tetanus. These both are bacterial diseases. Okay, typhoid and smallpox. Smallpox is a viral disease. So remember the trick. Corona stole, S for stole. So S here is viral disease, smallpox. Tetanus and mumps. Mumps is again a viral disease. Okay, which the mumps is also called as parotitis. Herpes and influenza, again these both are viral diseases. So the answer is first option. Okay. So remember the trick, students. Thank you.